Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Battle.net has more or less started behaving itself after the initial launch stampede. It's still got a few niggles, as you can see here. It seems to have lost my witch doctor. Ah, there he is. One of these days, Battle.net's going to lose that guy permanently. I am sure of it. I suppose I could play the crow. Anyway, let us continue. Wait a sec. Okay, so the last 7 or 8 minutes of that previous video were clearly a hallucination of some description. Well, we already knew this chap wasn't particularly mentally stable. I suppose that's just further evidence. On the bright side, the undead are back, so hey, bring on the XP pinatas. So, Battle.net. I know people keep talking about WoW killers, but honestly, I think the only thing that's going to kill WoW or Diablo or even StarCraft is going to be Battle.net. I'm trying to think of the last time Blizzard had a major launch that didn't have serious login problems, and well, I didn't pay much attention to StarCraft 2, so that may have gone off without trouble. This has had issues. Cataclysm was a complete stampede, and Lich King and Burning Crusade had niggles, but I don't remember them ever being seriously balked. In fact, one of the things they specifically did with Lich King was to try and split the players up when they went into Icecrown, so you didn't have everybody piling into the same zone. Now, it's interesting to note that they don't seem to be doing that with Pandaria. Everyone appears to be going into the same starting zone for level 85 to 86. It'll be interesting to see if they've managed to beef up their server architecture to the point where it can actually handle this.
This is Tristram Cathedral.
Yes, we know. We were here last time. Get on with it. And it'll be interesting to see if they have got server architecture in place that can handle it now. Because based on this showing, certainly for the initial rush, they may have to rethink that plan. I am not convinced. So, level 1 of the Cathedral. We are looking for Deckard Cain, who was last seen falling into a rather large pit. That rather large pit, in fact.
Here is where the fire fell from the sky. Strange magic comes from it.
Indeed, it is strange magic. It glows blue. That is usually the telltale sign of strange magic. And environmental kills. Gotta love them. Anyway, Deckard Cain, last seen disappearing into a pit full of a cathedral that is now, crawling with the Walking Dead. This guy is 80-something, and he's zombie chow, isn't he? Yeah, we're gonna find his corpse. You just know it.
I grow in.
Clearly, leveling has a knockback effect. I'm impressed. Can we get that in WoW? Because I'm certain my paladin never did anything that spectacular. And zombie dogs. Ooh, well, nothing else in that slot, so let's have them. Something else between me and the enemy is always good. Really ought to be doing this multiplayer by that logic, but hey, Billy no mates, what can I say? Those are dogs. Fair enough. They've got the attitude for it at any rate. Oh, nice. Blue mobs. And they can teleport, which means my snare is going to be of dubious use. Like that. Oh, terrific. Right. Start kiting. And plonk. Well, I suppose we've got the bat. And that's something. Pokey, pokey, pokey. Will you kindly fall over and die again? Right. Well, these guys are annoyingly persistent. Health bar. Okay, so that's a communal health bar as far as I can tell. It covers all 3 doggies. Well, that's a great thing. And, oh, Oh, lovely. We have the glorious Blizzard tradition of dropping loot you don't want, can't use, and don't need, even in a single-player game. Although I imagine I can probably trade this if I ever take this character onto multiplayer, at least I hope so. Getting shafted by the loot gods is one thing, and wow, at least someone else can probably use it. But for it to happen like that, yes, let's hope. And for some reason the collection plate was under the flagstones. That's an interesting method of conducting the offertory. No matter, let us dispose of these former gentlemen, and we shall continue on. Go, go, zombie Snoopy. The Red Baron's triumph was merely a temporary setback. Alright, they're all dead. Hoover that up, and... Right, well, this is a dead end, so with a bit of luck there's an encounter and a bit of bonus loot here. Well, if that was the encounter, it was pretty pathetic, and the loot's not exactly great either. Still, it's better than nothing, I suppose. And it's certainly better than a fiery pit trap of death. I don't think you get rubber trees in this game, even if it does owe a certain amount to LucasArts. And oh wow, blowpipe to demolitions. Okay, so clearly they were sticking loose change everywhere here. Under the flagstones, behind the books, you name it. Toddling on. Quite a decent sized map this. Now, I know there's a tradition to build cathedrals and such like big, but by my reckoning this is about 5 times the size of the village. Okay, someone made a zombie out of giant worms. That's novel. And also slightly gross. Although, to be frank, it's probably not the most disgusting thing I'm going to see over the course of this game, so who cares? Do I really want to drink that? I mean, I know exactly where it's been. That's a wall. Let's see what's up this way. Open the door, toddle on through, check the corpse. It's not robbing the dead, it's the creative redistribution of equipment from those who no longer need it. Absolutely. It's not grave robbing at all. These people aren't in graves, for one thing. Alright. Pokey, 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 pokey. If I've got a criticism to level at Diablo 3 thus far, and I realise this is unfair because I'm only half an hour into the game, it's that low-level gameplay feels a smidge repetitive at this point. Now, as I say, this character is level, what, 4? Has 3 ability slots and 5 abilities to go around them. Yeah. It's a little bit repetitive, honestly, compared to similarly in WoW, where you would have had... Actually, no, that's a complete lie. I mean, by level 4 in WoW, you basically had about 4 abilities. Okay, I'm being unfair. So, fire bats at the next level, and let's see... Mix things up a bit, because if I'm going to be hitting loads and loads of these AoE packs, the poison dart's not necessarily an efficient way of killing them down. So if we zerg them out with spiders and dogs, that might do the job a bit quicker. Don't be afraid to experiment. What's the worst that could go wrong in this game? Clonk. Clonk. Right. So with that little bit cleared... Right. spiders versus zombies. Kind of like Peace Bloom versus ghouls, but with, well, less plants and less zombies. Still got a few zombies. The dogs are zombies, and this spider thing isn't working at all, is it? Oh wow. Yeah. Okay, I really need to keep at least one direct damage attack. Ouch. Yeah, okay, break away, chuck a potion, and resummon the dogs as well. Okay, so put the spiders back after this, I think. That does seem to be a philosophy that's developing in Diablo. You don't so much pick the most powerful abilities, you pick a set of abilities that complement each other. So for example, I'm using Poison Dart here because that's the only direct attack, and I've got a summon and a snare, so I can treat it as essentially a sniper with pets. Once I get Fire Bats, we'll see how that goes. It may be that I can dump the snare, use Fire Bats as a primary attack, and then keep the spiders and the dogs coming as essentially meat shields. We shall see. I have to hit level 5 first, of course. Hopefully that will happen in this video. Nothing in him, and considerate little sod couldn't even die right. And it's Timmy! Haven't seen him in years. Well, except for the two mates who I butchered a few minutes ago, and ooh, yeah. Yes, they're an interesting kind of zombie that explodes into 7-foot-long worms. What kind of invertebrate gets to 7 foot long anyway? Doesn't that cause severe structural problems? Mind you, no, those don't count. They're aquatic. Just thinking of things like Kraken or similar. Plus, of course, Kraken are mythical, so they definitely don't count. Still, it's very handy these guys to explode when you kill them. Well, I'm afraid no one's really asking your opinion. Where are you, anyway? Who cares? Probably just massacred him without even realising it. Oh, he's there. Right. Well, let's just finish this little lot off. Kill him anyway. I really ought to get into the habit of hitting those chandeliers before I kill the mobs underneath them. It would make life so much simpler. Well, I did say this was going to be the demonstration of someone who really wasn't very good at Diablo, so we'll call that a learning experience and stick to that excuse if anybody asks. Looty, and okay, Timmy the umpteenth is down there. Right, snare up the little guys and start knocking off. Okay, that's interesting. Line of sight doesn't take your pets into account, which I suppose is logical. I mean, these aren't, well, they are zombies, but I don't have the kind of link that's traditional for necromancers, the he sees everything his pets see theme that you see so often when the undead are involved. On the other hand, they're dogs, they smell everything their pets smell, and down here that's probably a blessing. Let's face it, when was this place last aired? Well, probably about an hour ago actually, given what the intro cutscene said about our characters arriving at Tristram just as the fallen star fell. Like, clonk, bang, aha! Not quite sure how I brought that wall down, but clearly I did, and we have the fire bats. And I have no idea why I did that. Well, yeah. Die. Again, you know what I mean? Okay, call from the swollen fire bats. 55 mana. This is going to be entertaining. Inconsiderate of yet another villager to die with no loot on him. How can you rob the guerrero? Ooh. Oh, I'm going to have fun with this. Maybe. Maybe. Shiny chest. Oh, that's so obviously a trap. Woof. Okay, right. So yeah, I could dump poison dart, couldn't I? Yes, that is worth considering. Now, wall supports and shoddy looking construction. This place really wasn't built to code, was it? Let's see, which way is that going to fall? Oh, why did I even bother asking? Of course it was going to fall that way. Still, at least it didn't land on me. That's the main thing. The game's very obviously going to revolve around setting up these kinds of traps or just taking advantage of them. At the moment it's handing me set pieces with the mobs already in position, but I imagine later on I am going to have to lure the monsters back into place to get them into position for the traps and then spring it, which is going to require a little bit of skill. Now, I didn't miss anything back here, so yeah, there's a little bit I didn't clear that room, which I don't imagine is going to be particularly relevant. But it looks like I've wiped out a large chunk of the map elsewhere. Nope, another chest though, so we'll have that. And in true dungeoneering fashion, loot everything, then go and get a crowbar for whatever was nailed down. Ladies and gentlemen, Blizzard. What's it been now? 20 years? 25? The finest kleptomaniac experiences you've ever had. Yes, indeed. Right, so that's the entrance. So it must be down that corridor off to the south. Left as we look at it here. So, toddle on. Doobie doobie doo, doobie doobie doo. Ignore the hand axe since we're running out of space. Bang. If anyone figures out how to mass produce those blowpipes, then the demolition industry in Tristram's going to go bankrupt. Not that it needed much help anyway. So, flying fiery bats versus undead, I think, electric bats. Fire wins. As indeed it should, for fire is the only guaranteed way to purge so many things. Heretics, demons, tax inspectors, and indeed all manner of other vile abomination. Let's see if there's anything worth having here.
My name is Lockdown.
Ooh,
I'm
plot.
Curse. Once the captain of King the Oryx army, I lived only to honour my land and my king. No man has a greater love for his king than I had for mine, even as I drove my blade through his dark and corrupted heart.
Except possibly Jaime Lannister, who has a pretty similar excuse. At least yours wasn't trying to, as I recall, set fire to children. Yes. Fun times, ladies and gentlemen. If you've only ever seen the teleseries, I strongly recommend you go for the books. Admittedly, they are indeed even nastier. Now, this looks like an interesting way to go. Right. He's not dead. He's not dead. So we have a doddery, or at least seemingly doddery, 80-something-year-old. Yes, yes, doom, destruction, yada yada, snore. Now, what I'm more interested in is precisely how he has survived. Because there is clearly more here than meets the eye. If this man is so feeble, so incapable, he should have been zombie chow much much time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a heretic! A foul necromancer. Clearly this is the only explanation, for the undead should surely have slain such a seemingly feeble old man long before we arrived. He is clearly in league with this skeleton king. Can we purge him? Can we slay the heretic? Apparently no, we can't. We will therefore have to loot the place dry.
Overburdened.
Yes, I'm sure. That's what you get for not doing your exercises and having a stooped posture and...
Thank you, but why did you risk yourself for me?
We're being paid.
Suppose you needed my help. Come, I must return to
No, we must burn the heretic. It is the only way to be sure.
I fear the worst. I learned of this secret passage through old maps I...
Yes, a likely story. No doubt it comes through other heresies and vile tomes. For only a necromancer could have survived the walking dead. Yeah. Be not deceived, ladies and gentlemen. This town is a nest. A viper's nest.
I have kept my word to Leah and rescued her uncle Cain. I pulled him from the clutches of the skeleton king, who still holds the fallen star.
Right, well, we're back in Tristram, and clearly...
Don't you dare think to help our mayor fix his wagon. My brother died defending this town, while that bloated coward tried to run away.
Yes, and frankly I'd be inclined to help him. Alright, so this is the same... Yes, we know. Frankly, you'd be better off staked out and left as zombie bait. But since we're obviously not going to get the option of doing that, let's go and talk to the seductress who beguiled us into rescuing this foul...
I seek your wisdom. Tell me of the fallen
Wisdom. We seek the wisdom of one who traffics with the undead. This chap's mental stability is clearly in question.
All that matters now is that you're back.
And will doubtless be working his corruption upon the village whilst we do his bidding unwittingly. Well, that's either the skeleton king he's talking about or some really tricky prophecy subversion, because frankly we've already killed him twice in previous games as I understand it. So...
I worked my hands to the bone to bring you these fine goods.
No, you haven't. There's still clearly flesh on them. If you would attempt to deceive a servant of the righteous, clearly you will have to be purged along with the rest of this forsaken town. That's long overdue, but I don't imagine we're going to get the option. Pity. A swarm of fiery bats would be an excellent way to cleanse this nest of vermin. But in the meantime, it's another bit of health regen gear, a bit of gold, and with a bit of luck. Is it worth hanging around for the auction house on that? No, I don't think so. Clear the inventory, check if there's anything worth repairing, not yet. Or buying, and... regeneration versus... leather. Yes, I think I will go for that. I'm not supposed to be taking hits anyway. Alright. So, clearly no one is too bothered about the zombie dogs. They're all very tolerant people here. Another sign of their foul and deviant heresy. And apparently they are fireproof too. There will be much effort involved in purging this place.
Blacksmith most of all. His wife
wife has been injured, and he is tasked. His family has suffered under this curse before.
She's injured? What you mean is she's dead or is shortly about to be? It is fairly inevitable.
King was once our beloved lord, Leoric. He was driven mad by Diablo's evil. He lost both of his sons and his very soul before he was finally defeated. Now it seems he's risen to plague this land once again.
Well, clearly somebody botched the job.
Yet he stands between me and the fallen star.
The key to defeating him lies in his old crown.
Uh-huh.
Check out our blacksmith, Hadric. He
So,
knows of
you knew this guy was... presumably had the potential to come back, and you didn't just quickly put him down when you clearly had the means and the method. Yes, they are clearly incubating this nest of corruption, believing it to be turned to their advantage. Very well, we shall deal with this teleporting cart. Even the mayor has unholy strength. This town must burn. There is no other way. Again, I think I may have to have those, but it can wait for a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of this episode. We are, I think, at a good moment to leave it. I will see you next time when hopefully we will purge these heretics.